My friends, we have so much to discuss on this beautiful Friday Eve. Here we are in a beautiful 79 degrees in New York City. It's nice and sunny, kind of, sort of. We're getting in. The fall is coming. We're getting closer and closer to the day of reckoning. The day we're going to be looking for, the day 74 days until the election. 74 days. Let me put you into perspective. I have friends of mine on both sides of the aisle, so to speak, who really don't understand it. I've got friends of mine who are Trump supporters, who are children. I've got friends of mine who are Kamala supporters, who are children. By the way, the president of Goya Foods, a great, great man, refers to her as Kamala as well. So maybe perhaps the pun is so obvious. But I want you to understand where we are, dear friends, where we are, where we sit, where we are, how we think. I have this little piece, by the way. I hope you saw this. This was something from my YouTube, or excuse me, my Twitter or X. Mr. Dell and I took this in Paso Grill, right around the Don Cesar, right there south in St. Pete Beach, which is one of my favorite little places. Went to law school around there, and the place always is a great source of just a lot of fun. This was about 5 years ago. We were driving along, we just saw this. It was right there. We pulled over and I took this picture, trying to hold my camera as clear as possible. And this is before TDS and everything pretty much came in. This is right there, the Intercoastal Waterway. Behind it would be the Don Cesar, the beautiful pink hotel, the great St. Pete Beach, Ted Peters, and my old stomping grounds during law school. Anyway, I just thought this was so terrific. If you want to see it in full time, it's right there. It was so beautiful that day. It was just so perfect. It was before it really hit the fan. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful time. It was kind of fun then. People were just rational. Nobody was crazy yet. Yeah, it didn't really go crazy. And now it's beyond. It is so bad. This country is so bad. It really is. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. Bro, literally, bro, literally. Sagar Enjeti from Crystal and Sagar, he said literally about 50 times. I wish I was watching one of my favorite cop arrests. I know, I'm addicted. And this one said, bro, he's married, bro. He's my husband, bro. Bro, he's my husband, bro. She's 22 girl. Bro was like 55. Every sentence ended in bro. Where the hell did this come from? I love it. That's all I hear is bro. Jesus God. In any event, get ready. We have a lot to talk about. And I want to say something before this, my friend. I'm beginning a lot of thanks from people saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. They were saying thank you for making them aware of what's going on. Specifically, this important and critical sponsor of ours. This is one that I really believe in big time. This is My Patriot Supply, but preparewithlionel.com. The whole idea, the idea of emergency food, I will never forget. A couple of times in my life when somebody said to me that they thought this was some kind of a conspiracy theory. And I said, what? What? You want to what? I swear to you. You might think to yourself, well, you should get kind of used to it. No. I can't believe what I saw. And I can't believe how I just couldn't believe it. Could not believe what I was saying. Somebody actually thought that thinking about and imagining the need for emergency food With this group, after we've been through pandemics and shutdowns, and we went through, remember the supply chain breakdowns, and I remember one time a friend of mine was getting a car, and like all these cars like were just stopped and look. I know you're smart. Just go to preparewithlionel.com. They've got an incredible deal for you now just to keep you going. This is a beaut. This is saving $300 for a 3-month emergency food kit. 3 months, you're set. You are set. Okay? But just go and check. Just go and check and see for yourself. And you will thank me one day for this. Let's jump into this, shall we? A couple of things here. First and foremost, let's, in no particular order, let me tell you, some of the memes, some of the stuff that has been presented as a quote joke are so good and so perfect. They explicate and expatiate perfectly the reality that we live in.
Decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border.
Doesn't that just say everything? Doesn't that just say everything? When I was a prosecutor, some of these people, every now and then we had most folks, I always thought of myself as a lawyer. I thought of myself as a trial lawyer, not as a cop or anything. I didn't think of myself as a cop. I was somebody who was trying to, bring a case on behalf of the state, but I wasn't a cop. I didn't fancy myself as being. I did not think. Other folks kind of sort of did, in a very weird way. They did, and we all had badges. We got a badge, and I thought, I didn't know what I do with this badge, but it was good if you went to the jail. Sometimes. Never got a speeding ticket, never had to show anybody. But other people loved it. One guy walked around with his badge in his pocket. I said, "What are you doing? We're in an office. There's no, what are you doing?" Some people really got into the notion of the power. This should scare the hell out of you. This is Kamala when she was in 2020 talking about the power that she had as a prosecutor. And listen to how she almost takes glee in ruining people's lives. Listen to how sick this is.
I think I was, 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work, and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd lose standing in their community. All because of the swipe of my pen. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power.
That should scare the hell out of you. Oh my God. That should make you think like, oh my God. Ken Diazio said, I purchased mine 6 months supply many, many months ago. Excellent, Ken. You're a smart man. Eric Heffelfinger says, 23,000 kids were reported to be missing at the border last week. That's on top of the 85,000 a few months ago. There are so many people who should be under the prison for what they have done. What's the official number? Was it 85? How many kids unaccompanied lost?
Well, the other day they announced over 320,000, and last year 85,000.
320,000. 320,000. 320,000. Just think about that for a moment. Let that just sink in. 320,000. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. By the by, I'm going to be sending an email. Somebody suggested the other day. He said, "What is the sign up for your newsletter?" I'm thinking, here it is, completely, totally free newsletter, or whatever, sell emails or anything like that. But that's that if you want to do this. I want to bring up something also which is important. You know, as I near the beginning of my 67th year, which would be 60, I have these newfangled things I want to do. I want to have classes. I want to have, this sounds really crazy, right? I want to have like boot camps in the summer for young people to come to learn how to critically think. And I want to talk about this thing called the truth. I know it sounds really kind of corny. I know it sounds corny, but I want people to understand what it means. And one thing is, when you get something wrong, correct it. And John Maynard Keynes said, when the facts change, you change your opinion. Some people are afraid to say, well, you know, I'm voting for Trump now. Well, why? Well, I didn't really like him. Well, things have changed. Things have changed. So admit things have changed, and that's the way that is. Well, this is the most important thing you understand. When you get something wrong, or if somebody says something, remember we were talking about this young man. This is Tim, Tampon Tim, and his son, Gus or something. I don't know if it's Gus, but they were saying that he swatted his hands. Watch, see that where they pulled him, he yanked him. Did you see this? Repeatedly, watch this. And they kept showing it how you got to yank him. Didn't that seem to you like that was so rude? It was so rude. Well, you know why? After closer inspection, what somebody brought out, and it's important for us to be clear. I know this might sound like a minor correction. He was going to walk into the teleprompter. His father pulled him, so the story goes, and I think it's probable, pulled him so the kid wouldn't walk into this clear lucite thing, which could have done some damage. This is hard plastic. Now watch this. As he's walking, see, there it is. See what he does? He's about to walk into this on the left. Watch him again. Right about here. Yanks him. So take that, Ann Coulter. Well, she's got some serious issues. Oh, we're talking steamer trunk emotional baggage with that one. So when you get something wrong, correct it. That's all. And people will think the world of it. People say, you know what? That is pretty doggone. That is pretty good of you. Hey, that was great. Because I love when things are wrong, do not be afraid to change your mind. Do not be afraid to change your mind. Do not be afraid when something happens. When something happens, when you figure, well, this isn't going to work anymore, just say it. So, nothing wrong with that. Now, Bobby Kennedy. We'll talk about him for a moment. I got so many open. How I do it every day is beyond me. Bobby Kennedy. Let me ask you a question. What do you think of Bobby Kennedy? What do you think about him? What do you think about him? Anybody? Any thoughts of Bobby Kennedy? Anybody? Any thoughts? Anybody? Anybody ever? You have any? I mean, do you think he's great? There are parts of him I think are terrific. Parts I think are kind of stupid. But did you notice anything? Did you notice anything? What's your thoughts on Bobby? A little nutty? Could be a help to Trump? I like Edward Arruda says, meh, I know, I'm kind of with you. To err is human, to forgive it. He's all right. It's all right. What is this? What is this? Dennis. Hold it. Dennis, let's talk about you. Dennis says, Gloria, they called in a thoracic surgeon and a cardiologist after they saw the test results. They both said if I had called 4 hours later, I would have been going to the morgue instead. Jesus. I'm so glad. I would imagine it's about you. And I am so glad you are okay. My God. Isn't that something? Whenever you are spared of something, it's to you, my friend. Salute to your health. Bobby Kennedy. Look, can I try to explain something to you? Can I maybe explain something to you? Can I see if I can explain this to you and see if maybe I can help if I could? You do not have to love these people. You do not have to like these people. You do not have to anything with these people. You do not have to like them. You do not have to care for them. You don't have to anything at all. You don't have to like them. You don't have to I don't know how to say this to you. There's a couple of things here which I think are interesting. Bobby Kennedy was I am so proud and so I almost said amazed. That's another word that's being used too much. But how he decided to fight specifically and deal with this notion of what's going on regarding vaccines, I thought was nothing short of magnificent. Magnificent. Good for him. The fact that somebody of all the things, and he wasn't just going after vaccines. He was talking about autism, making just saying things, and was wonderful. I thought, this is a guy. This is somebody this is a man after my heart, who has the guts to say it. Now, if he's not telling the truth, go ahead and correct him. Correct him. If he's got something wrong, correct him. Suzanne Summers years ago would say things. How do we say this? She would say things about juicing or something to prevent cancer or to address cancer or something like that. And I thought, there's something a little bit weird about that. There's something very, very strange. And the thing that's very, 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 very weird about it is that I don't think it might be a good idea for you to tell people in a weird way to do this. Because what you're doing is you're actually suggesting maybe to them that they might do something in lieu of, let's say, chemo or God knows what. And to make a long story short, I thought, this is not a good thing. In any event. So I thought to myself, but you know what? So what? Let them say this. And if she's wrong, then fine. Go ahead and say it. Just 1 second. Pardon me. I hate to do that. But I must say this. My favorite word, huzzah. I love huzzah. Huzzah is a wonderful word for hooray. So when Bobby Kennedy came along and he said some things about, autism and this, I thought to myself, I am not an expert in this, but I would love for him to start a conversation. And good for him. Start a conversation. I know that when I was when I was a youngster growing up, when nobody had autism. Parahamza said there is a post on Holiday that may explain some things. Apparently, Kamala enjoys a taste frequently. Oh, they say she's a drunk. Maybe she's a dipsomaniac. I don't know. Could be. That's what people are suggesting. Pilgrim Media says, win or lose, do the neocons realize the loss of party? We'll talk about neocons in a moment because they're not really neocons. But thank you, Brad, by the way. Thank you. But Bobby Kennedy, I kind of liked it. I thought the Shanahan is a complete and total twit. I thought the way he caved into Shmuley Botia was just, come on, man. But you don't understand something. You don't understand something. Before we get to Bobby Kennedy, I want you to understand something. Please. It's called, I don't want to get all Mearsheimer on you, but it's called realism, but it's also called empathic realism. You've got to understand the way people think. If I was in Israel and I was an Israeli Jew, I would not want to share anything with Palestinians. Now, is that far-fetched? Am I a bad person? I wouldn't want a two-state solution. I would say, well, I'm going to talk to this in person. But frankly, I want you out of here. I want this all for myself. Soul says, RFK Jr. going after big pharma and child obesity. Good. But he also went after the notion of autism. By the way, NJ Mills, thank you. Thank you. There's something about just explain. Let me explain this before I forget. If you don't understand how, and not all Israelis, but a lot of Israelis say, I don't want any of these people. And they can hate Palestinians. And the Palestinians can hate the Israelis. I mean, hate them. Hate them. We were here first, and this is it. Now, if you can't, if this is beyond your intellectual ken, as it were, you don't have any business being involved in this. Understand the way they think. Understand the way people think. So Bobby Kennedy was on the Upper East Side. That what's that Italian restaurant we went to? What's that famous place? Oh, huh? Not Premola. We went there with Pat Cooper. No, we went there one time with no, we went there with our friend Lizzie. Upper East Side. That place. No, it's the one you went for. Tony DiNapoli. God. Going over this, because that's not that. I got to tell you a story about Premola with Pat Cooper. That was one of the great moments in any event. So he was up there and he was doing his thing. And he thought it was Chatham House rules where he could say whatever he wanted and stupid. Somebody recorded it. Bobby Kennedy Jr. said something to the effect that one day there may be able to be either the what am I trying to say? They might be able to configure or rig or target either particular pathologies, viruses, and the like to attack, to attract, to attach to certain people, certain places because of ethnicity and the like, because of genomes and what have you. Maybe Ashkenazi Jews, maybe Asians, maybe whatever. Which makes sense to me. Oh, if I found out that, hey, give me all that 1, 2, 3 and me thing. I got a friend of mine who just did this quote, genetic testing. I was like, what are you doing, schmuck? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're giving your genome. He has no clue, any of it. But somebody said, we've got about 1 million Syrians from Damascus, and we found out something that only they've got. They've got this one marker. Let's just assume, theoretically, on their genotype, or they have this one particular marker that makes them susceptible to something. And we know we have devised a particular not antigen, a pathogen that attaches only Damascus Syrians. How do you like that? Now, isn't that groovy? I think it's groovy. Now, what happens if all of a sudden somebody figures out how to do that? And you wouldn't have to drop a bomb. You wouldn't have to do anything. You would just go after people and you would just say, you know what? Okay, fine. So that's kind of what he was saying. Doesn't that make sense to you? I'd want to do it. Oh, and the bigger the group, African Americans, Asian Americans, not somebody from Syracuse. You see what I'm saying? So Bobby Kennedy made this particular statement, and he might have been waxing hypothetical. Somebody overheard him and accused him of anti-Semitism. Sparky says Trump should make Bobby the director of the CIA to really break it off in the intel community. Let me address this in a moment. It sounds good to a point. So Bob, and you'll love this, Sparky. And by the way, thank you. So Sparky immediately, Sparky. So Bobby goes out there, and immediately they come after him. They say you're an anti-Semite. So what does he do? He gets a hold of Shmuley Botia, who I'm sorry I've known him for years. Good guy, but a maniac. Comes across like a complete and total lunatic. Obnoxious, very smart, knows his stuff, but by God, he is just absolutely. He's a nut, but in a good way. So Mrs. Ellen and I went, he was going to be at the Glass House right there on 11th Avenue. We went down the street, and lo and behold, there's Bobby Kennedy speaking with Shmuley. And it was a weird night. There were also these weird, there were like these like MILFs, GILFs, cobras, pumas, not these pumas, these cougars. And they look like like the long in the tooth hooker set. I'm sorry. I can't admit it. They came alone and they're looking at Bobby Kennedy like, I'm thinking, he might like this. It was really weird. Yeah, these were not nice looking people. They were scary. It's like I told you at the time, right? I told you the story about there were these women who were trying to audition for this mom thing or housewives or something. And I was in this Irish bar on the over here in the hood, and during their break, this one woman came in, and they were all dolled up. They looked like fallen women, as we used to say, like strumpets, slatterns, ladies of the evening, fallen women, hard, like troubled, hard, like old hookers, and they came in, and the bartender says, "What the hell's your one over there? Look at that, for Christ's sake. Jesus. She's a hooker. Oh my God. And he always had to say, "But that's a family place." I said, you don't know she's a hooker. Look at her, for Christ's sake. Look at her. And another one came in. Well, it turns out they were on a lunch break or something for this audition. He goes, "What the hell? Jesus." And so somebody said, "No, it's this. They're auditioning for the Housewives of Bayonne," or whatever the hell it was. And they came in, and it was one of the funniest. And if I went to these ladies and they thought you were a bunch of hookers, they would have gone. In any event, that was the night of seeing Bobby Kennedy. So Bobby Kennedy, I thought, he threw it in with Shmuley, and he basically said, "Everybody, I am the greatest Zionist in the history of." Okay. Well, then October the 7th hit, and then there you go. Okay. So let me just say something right now. I'm glad that's not my thing. I'm an American. I worry about my stuff here. I'm worried about my stuff here. Is that an Edie?
That's a new Edie.
Oh, we got our new Edie. Got a new Edie Crowley piece of work.
We got some other things.
Got some others too. Got some other Edie Crowley. We have our collection.
Yeah, and
Oh, we have.
oh, Autumn is teaching herself Mandarin Chinese.
Whoa.
Edie.
Oh my God. Little Autumn is learning how to do Mandarin Chinese. That is.
Edie listening?
Edie better be listening. We got it right here. Thank you for that. So anyway, Bobby Kennedy, please. I know this is circuitous. Work with me. So Bobby Kennedy hooks up with Shmuley, and now he's stuck in all this. And he's lost all of it. A lot of these young people who are very, very adamant about. I mean, there is a contingent who basically says they think that this is genocide, and they are pissed off about it. And if you want to see Amy Goodman or any of these folks, even Crystal Ball, for God's sake, Crystal Ball and Brianna and all these others, I mean, they have no time for Bobby Kennedy. Okay, that's the way it is. That's the way that goes. And that's what happens when you attach yourself to something. Well, Bobby Kennedy, he's there. Rode hard and put away wet. That's right. That's right, Pilgrim. Like 3 miles of bad road, like homemade soap. Remember that one? That's another one, which is horrible. In any event, now here's Bobby. But before I do this, Sparky said he should be the head of CIA. No. Number one, first of all, you can't politicize that. Maybe. I mean, listen, if George Herbert Walker Bush can be the head of the CIA, remember Stansfield Turner, if Panetta. Did you see Leon Panetta, by the way? Leon Panetta. I know I'm throwing a lot of. We'll get to Bobby in a moment. And I know I'm going off target, but that's the way it is. Howie says, libs of TikTok knew Oxford, Massachusetts health officials have just recommended a 6 p.m. curfew due to an triple E outbreak despite protests from a large number of residents. Eastern equine encephalitis. Oh, for God's sake. By the way, isn't that libs of TikTok? Aren't they great? Isn't she great? Very love her. So, little side story about Leon Panetta. Please look into this story. Please, I beg you. I beg you. Remember the story when they were in the Situation Room and they were supposedly whacking bin Laden. Remember that story? And there was, Obama had on a jacket. He was sitting in the back. He looked like he was a visitor. He was sitting in the back and like a windbreaker. It was some admiral dude. There was Hillary, had her mouth. She's like smelling her hand or aghast by the horror. Biden was there. There was a young-looking secretary in the back. And they were all watching the last moments of the life of bin Laden. That's what it was. The last moments. They were, oh my God, the last moments. To see him as he was dispatched before their eyes, taken out. Okay. And Hillary, of course, was trying to show her own horror. Oh my God, look at this terrible thing. Panetta, the big mouth, later on said, oh, we didn't see anything. The goggle, the helmet vision went down, or whatever it was, and lost its power, as whatever it was. And they were looking at nothing. So they were pretending that they were seeing something when there was nothing, according to Leon Panetta. He said it. And Gwig says, today Roger Stone said Bobby was polling 23% Trump voters and 9% Harris voters. Alex Jones, and he predicted no debate and Amendment 25, as you predicted. There will be one debate, and the 25th Amendment, they cannot look. It's a very good thing. If they do 25th Amendment and Biden steps down, that means she's going to theoretically take over, and she's campaigning. So she's the could be. They may have gone too far, or they might have said, "No, the hell with it. Let her campaign, or let her not campaign." You know what? Interesting. She could go into the office, be the president, and not take any press and have an excuse because she's so busy doing whatever it was. Okay. Now, going back, Leon Panetta got that story done. It was all nonsense. That's number one. Number two, Sparky's a CIA director. You do know, Sparky, there are people who are trying to hurt us, right? There are people out there who are trying to hurt us, trying to hurt my fellow Americans. There are some people. It's not all about politicized stuff. It's not all about deep state, police state, install state, shadow government. There's some bad people, bad dudes, bad folks out there. And Bobby Kennedy better understand. Does he have that viciousness in his heart? I love this. I love it. Uncle Lenny rumpology. That's right. Checking our bum. I love phrenology. Thank you for that, Crypto. You're a maniac and you dance like you've never danced before. So, head of the CIA, yeah, I don't want a wimp. Intel's very important, but I want somebody who doesn't do it. It doesn't come after our citizens. I want somebody who enjoys the benefit of the charter. I also want somebody to understand that FISA courts also have been abused ridiculously, and that has to be done. Okay, enough of this. Here's Bobby today, Bobby Kennedy. I can't play the whole thing, but you know what? It's damn good. So let's see how much, if it's really tough for you. When I first heard him, I got to be honest, I thought, kind of hard for me to listen to him. But as I listen more and more, I'm kind of digging it. I can kind of dig it. I've become more and more able to work through his his spasmodic dysphonia. Remember that? Do the name Ruby Begonia ring a bell? Do the name spasmodic dysphonia ring a bell? Anyway, here's Bubala.
Instead of showing us her substance and character, the DNC and its media organs engineered a surge of popularity for Vice President Harris based upon, well, nothing. No policies, no interviews, no debates, only smoke and mirrors and balloons in a highly produced Chicago circus. There in Chicago, a string of Democratic speakers mentioned Donald Trump 147 times just on the first day. Oh, who needs a policy when you have Trump to hate? In contrast, at the RNC convention, President Biden was mentioned only twice in 4 days. I do interviews every day.
Yep.
Many of you have interviewed me. Anybody who asks gets to interview me. Some days I do as many as 10. President Trump, who actually was nominated and won an election, also does interviews daily. How did the Democratic Party choose a candidate that has never done an interview or debate during the entire election cycle? We know the answers. They did it by weaponizing the government agencies. They did it by abandoning democracy. They did it by suing the opposition and by disenfranchising American voters.
Now, that was very good. I'm not going to play. Please listen to his entire speech. It's very good. Sparky says, very cogently, the CIA has been politicized. Put Bobby in charge to expose their evil deeds as he disbands them. CIA hasn't done shisa for the U.S. in decades, if ever. In fact, they've been a detriment. Could not agree with you more, sir. One of the moments of truth is when Harry Truman said one of his worst moments ever, one of the worst moments ever, was when he signed into effect the Intel law, which basically went from OSS to CIA. Absolutely. 100%. Could not agree with him more. Andy Armour says, literally, bro, I hope you and the missus have a stellar evening. Frozen Valor, thank you. Hashtag Frozen Valor. The history from the time of one of the worst, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. The BitBlock says the DNC left no impact on anyone. Kamala's a fraud. Americans know this. Let's get the win this November, Uncle Lenny. I'm with you 100%. I think the result of this, let me ask yourself, now, again, do we see anything in the polls? They're kind of stuck there. Are we going to see this? Now, they're going to say there was a surge. They were going to say it. Is there really? I don't know. Sparky says Bobby refuses to be interviewed by Max Blumenthal or anyone from the gray zone. Can you believe him? Can you blame him? They would destroy him. Absolutely. But understand something. Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate and others, I don't want to say it's an acquired taste, but it's an acquired perspective. They're going to use words like genocide, apartheid, and whatever. And if you think you're going to get away, and it's sad to say, but if you think you're going to win politically and you call Israel a genocide, now I'm not arguing with you, Sparky. I know how you get. Watch it. He can't get near that. Blumenthal is deadly in terms of his knowledge of the facts. Mate is good too. I've also enjoyed Katie Halper. I like some of there's a lot of folks out there, I'm not going to mention them, but people who I do not particularly care for politically, except when it comes to this. And I would want to say, and they will say, as you know, they'll say, Israel is committing genocide. Israel is committing genocide. Yes, it is. CIA is the child of the OSS and the Operation Paperclip. Yep, it's true. By the way, genocide, I talked to a friend of mine, and he was going into like the definition, the dictionary definition of genocide. He was also looking at Wikipedia. I said, no, look at the oh God, the genocide act, treaty, the Rome definition of the Statute of Rome, not Club of Rome, not the March in Rome, but I said, read it. It's not what you think it is. It's very open. But the issue about, you do know that what the issue is intent. But then again, if somebody says, well, if there's genocide, how come the population, population numbers of Palestinians have gone up? I mean, that radical, crazy, homicidal bastard in Germany took out huge swaths of humanity. Oh, there she is. There's Edie. Edie says, Mr. Rao, the painting with the red and the purple streaks is my granddaughter's work. She has been doing abstracts since she was 4. Now she's 7. This is the one here, right? This one? We got that one. Art is a beautiful component, an extension of the soul. And it shows a very refined and a very literate and a very developed soul. So thank you for that. The 2 people, Sparky, responsible, the number 1 is Alan Dulles. The Dulles brothers changed everything. Alan Dulles, if there's one person, one villain who changed the course of everything from Operation, you say paperclip to Ajax to Mongoose to, oh my God, to Mockingbird, name it. It's Alan Dulles. Let me ask you something. Sparky, answer a question for me. If after World War II, if you had a bunch of German scientists, what would you do with them? If you had Werner von Braun and you say, that could be our guy, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Do you grant him amnesty? Do you get him to work for you? Or do you say, no, sorry, what you did was wrong? Sparky is very well informed. He is Mazda Spaz. He is. But don't get on his dark side and wait till he gets off into some arcane story. Like one time, if he talks about his grandfather's neighbor and how the history of malted milk, forget it. Forget it. Just get out of the way. Just let it happen and get out of the way. I don't, sometimes I think I might be despotic myself. I might say, I'm the ruler of this country. I got to make friends with all these crazy bastards. Better to have them on the inside pissing out than the outside pissing in. That's what they said about J. Edgar Hoover. He may be a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. But Dulles, who was it? Did you see that silly interview with Candace Owens and Don Lemon? Oh my God. 2 children. And he said, well, do you think the CIA was responsible for the assassination, for the dispatch of JFK? Like, Don, are you just stupid? Do you just not know anything? I mean, seriously, dude, bro, literally, do you just not know anything about anything? Does any of this make any sense to you? Where have you been? This is one of those things where you got to ask yourself, my God, where in the name of God have you been? How did you not know this? How does anybody not know this? Remember, the real story that you will never get, the story that will blow your mind, is what happened on the 11th day of the 9th month, 23 years ago. That was the one. Oh, I sat down. I remember one time we're eating, and there was a young person there, and I said, a little napkin. I said, let me draw you a couple of things. I gave a few stories, and you could see the blood just drain from his head and his face. He goes, oh my God. Now, let's look at this. We have, what was this one here?
Kamala, and I see Walsh is being.
Oh, yes. This is a lady from Iowa, and I love what she says. This is one of the best. This is from CNN. CNN, I'm telling you, is putting up some damn good stuff. Not all of it. Not all of it. But this woman says it's so
I
perfect.
see Kamala and I see Walz as being so far left that it concerns me. I'm comfortable with Trump. We had 4 years of Trump. We know what Trump is. I'm not voting for him to be my Valentine. I'm not voting for him to be my best friend.
That's what do I tell you? Hold your nose and vote for him. Sure. He's the best thing for you. Don't have to like him. Uh-oh. Sparky says, small world. Dad knew Von Braun said he could speak on any subject, including local Atlanta news, even though he lived in Huntsville, Alabama, because he read the local paper when he was in town. You know what, Sparky? If you met some of these folks, these diehard Nazis, many of them were absolutely rarefied, intellectually astute, patrician, very cultured. Not everybody was Himmler, okay? Not that I'm in any way countenancing, but I'm saying if you met them, there was a European panache that they exhibited. Bruh, literally. Okay. When you say Neil Cavuto, I think of rectal polyps, rectoceles, adhesions. I think of fungating purulent pustules, cold sores. I think of painful discharges from a variety of herpetic lesion. That's what I think of when I think of Neil Cavuto. I despise him. I despise why he's there. I have no idea. But my friend, here is Mr. Cavuto, for reasons I should understand. Here he is with Lady Gaga's father. And Lady Gaga's father apparently was talking about Trump's plan to waive tax on tips and what this will do. It's like giving workers a raise. Listen to this, but watch Cavuto's face during the course of this.
It's a great thing for them, okay, and it's also good for the restaurant. That for them, I mean, 75% of their income comes from tips. So we're giving them effectively Donald Trump is giving them a raise, all right, and it gives them more disposable income. I mean, if wages get increased, all right, the hourly wage, I mean, that ultimately shows up in menu prices, okay, but this pays the employee for what they do well, all right, and, you know, quite frankly, I think, you know, it's going to allow them maybe to not work as many jobs. Most of my employees here have two server positions, you know, or a server and a busboy position. So I think it's a great thing all around. I think the president was brilliant in throwing this out on the table.
Now, I think that makes sense. Let me tell you another one one that I come around to like quite a bit. I thought she was a one-trick pony at first. I thought, oh my gosh, she's gonna milk this thing. I hate when all of a sudden, remember when Janice Dean, I know Janice Dean, she lost her in-laws. I know her in-law. I know it was a tragedy because of that rat bastard, that Fredo Salazzo Cuomo, when he was governor, put the people with COVID into a convalescent centers and old folks homes. And oh my God, it was terrible. It was stupid. Over. She just said, now is my chance. Okay, take it easy. That was all she milked it for I'm sorry, but it's true. She's right. She had a point, but it's like, enough. I know. I got it. It's terrible. But she's trying to show you, oh, you understand? That's my son. Okay, fine. But you know what? She did a good job, and that's great. Plus, I like her because I like to see older people on TV. Okay? I do. Last night, by the way, when you get a chance, I had I was feeling don't ask me. I'm not going to go through this, but all kinds of stupid things going on. I mean, I got them taken care of, but just, you know, sometimes when I don't want to drink, I don't want to inject a bolus or a bowl of some kind of heroin, synthetic heroin, which I don't advise. But instead, I'll look at YouTube, and I looked up Don't ask me how. Anchors cracking up. And I've been there before. When you're on this set and you're tired and you're not supposed to let, and things that aren't really that funny. And okay. So it made me feel good. See people laugh about stuff. Like, here we go. Sparky says, I cut the scientists and engineers from Operation Paperclip more slack than the intelligence ones. Ukrainian Nazis were propped up during the Cold War by the CIA to foment discord. They're still there. Oh, are you kidding? Look at the Azov Battalion. Look at the right sector. They're still there. Look at what, absolutely. I'm a realist. I'm sorry. What are you supposed to be when you work in that country? What do you think, Sparky, the Vietnamese thought about American soldiers? What do you think they thought about Paul Tibbets? What do you think the Japanese thought about him when he dropped the bomb? I think they look at him as like a serial killer. We look at him like a hero. It's all relative, okay? Gwig says, Trump, RFK, Vance, please add child trafficking and missing kids to your speeches. It is part of a child health too. Right, Mrs. L? Absolutely, Gwig. Absolutely. Soul 76 Camp says, George Carlin would have a great laugh at everything today and said, I told you so 40 years ago. He knew. And others told him 40 years. Well, going back to, and thank you, by the way, going back to the people who I kind of like, who I thought were kind of like really milking it. Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is now on here. You know, she makes the point as Aaliyah Thomas, and she's actually she's very, very good. She's a natural speaker, and one of the greatest things in the world. Okay, Dave, what is it? Well, listen, you're going to go out there. You're going to be advocate for this particular position. And it's going to be one of the most difficult things and the most arcane and recondite things for you to handle. I hope you can understand it because it's very, very difficult. And it's very weird. Okay, what is it? No, seriously, dude. Bruh, literally, bruh. This is Kari. Ready for this? Can you handle this? Okay, ready? Here's it. This is what you're going to say. Remember? Okay, what is it? Okay, wait. It's hard to understand, but follow me. Men should not compete against women in women's sports. The fact that this is even subject to debate goes to show you that we've lost our minds. What? That's against the law. Prometheus Brother says, oh, hey, Lionel. Wish I could say something sensational this evening, but the evening speaks for itself. Enjoying the show. Thank you, my good friend. Excellent. Prometheus. Oh, Promethean. The gift of fire, as it were. So anyway, here is Riley Gaines, and she's spot on.
I see on social media people saying they're voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. Well, guess what? I am voting for Donald J. Trump because I am a woman.
This hits home. Look at that. Two seconds later, I didn't think it was that good. Now I'm going to show you something in a moment about clothing. Look at that. This is, I'm telling you, that's the issue.
Thank you, guys. Powerful.
Now, let me tell you the way, let's do this again. Here's the way she says it. The line is this. A lot of people are voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. Well, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I'm a woman. You see how I said that? Because I'm a woman. That's the emphasis. One more time. Listen how she said it. It was good, but it'd be a little bit better if you.
I see on social media people saying they're voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. Well, guess what? I am voting for Donald J. Trump because I am a woman.
Because I'm a woman. That's all. No big deal. No big deal. No big deal. Good for you. Good for you. I like what somebody just says. One of the best things I love, one of the best ways to sum it up, one of the best ways was to find out, to say, do you want 4 more years of this? That's it. Do you want more of it? If you do, go ahead. Years ago, I did a closing argument, and it was attempted first degree murder. Make a long story short, and my position was, and always was, that it was the wrong person, and whatever it was. And this poor guy was shot, basically in the head or the face, like 4 or 5 times. It's a long story, but I told the jury this. I said, on this particular night, what happened to that man happened. It was a crime, and it cannot be taken back. But if you go back and you convict her of something she didn't do, then 2 crimes will be committed. But this one, you can prevent. Not guilty. Not that did it, but sometimes I want to be able just to really summarize it. Like, you know what? Yeah. I've always loved this. And I've been saying this for my whole life. The macaroni and cheese story. Why is macaroni and cheese so good? And if you futz around with it, you ruin it. It gets too complicated. It's like a uncanny valley sort of. Macaroni, and to me, I'm sorry, but the Kraft macaroni and cheese with that nuclear colored cheese is the best. I don't eat it now, but it's the best. And don't mess with it. Don't put, if you put some sour cream, don't put sour cream in it. If you put some bacon bits, no, don't. You're ruining it. And the best is when it congeals and you can pull it out of a pan on a fork or a spoon. It's like a lollipop. It's perfect. Macaroni and cheese. And if you had to go to McMahon and Tate, if you had to be with Larry Tate or Darren Stevens, and you had to come up with, or Mad Men, and you had to come up with what would be the tag? What would it be? And what you're trying to do is, it just tastes good. I mean, that's it. There's nothing special to it. It's just, everybody loves it. I mean, so you want to find something. I mean, Make America Great Again. I like it because it's quick. It's got a name. It's got a MAGA. Okay, fine. What is Kamala's thing? Forward. Joy. What the hell does that mean? She has no idea what she's talking about. I don't understand it. If I worked for Kamala, I would say the same thing the Republicans are saying. I would say something that I want to give you an America you can be proud of. Hey, what does that mean? I don't know. It sounds good. They never mention America. They don't mention flags. They have balloons. They hate this country. They hate it. They hate the country. I may hate the government. Oh yeah. Iterations of it, like Sparky. Our intel history is horrible. I don't hate this country at all. I love this country. I'm telling you right now, I could not be more honest than I am now. My dream would be to be in an RV or a camper or a coach and to travel, as a great buddy Cole would say, the highway and the byway, just to travel in this country. And not from a plane, but to see what it's like to go to New Mexico and to go to Idaho, Wyoming, and this. I think one time we enjoy, Chugwater was like, what the hell is this? It was like the Wild West, flat mesas, and just this country. I love this country. I sound like Woody Guthrie. From the Everglades to the mountains, Ybor City, all day long. God bless America. And as a kid, I'm thinking, you are so corny. And as I get older, as I become wiser, as I become more aware of what's going on, I learn. It's like, you know what? I got to protect these bastards. And all these little kids, like Edie's granddaughter, like other people, got to leave them something. And then where somebody would say, if you had, I don't want to point to, I saw one of the best lines today ever. And I love something that's so brutal. It gets right down to it's called the gravamen of the indictment. It really gets to it. And it was a picture of Doug Emhoff's daughter with all the tattoos. Kind of creepy. Would you let her tattoo your kid? I mean, tattoo. What am I saying? Babysit your kid? No. No. Crypto says, I'm your driver and pilot, Uncle Lenny. Let's go. All right. I'm my own pilot. There's something creepy about that. Would you let Joe Biden watch your kid for the afternoon? No. Would you let Trump? Of course. That's a test. And that daughter, whatever, Emma, whatever her name is called, the tattoos, she's creepy looking. And there was a picture. See if you know this one. Who said, oh, remember Charles Corral? Yes. And Sparky, what about his other family? Remember that? On the road. Charles Corral. On the road. With oh yeah, and the family he had. But anyway, but they had a picture of Emma, whatever her name is, the one with the tattoos. And the caption was, in this one particular kind of a scary picture, it said, put the lotion in the basket. Remember that line? Who remembers that one? Remember that line, honey? Put the lotion in the basket. Let me on there. Put the lotion in the basket. Or take something like that. I think it was Silence of the Lambs. Remember Buffalo Bill? He lowered it down to this woman in there. Put the lotion in the basket. This woman creeps me out. Creeps me out. And I'm sorry. And I think I would be and am a person. And if I happen to have a young daughter who looked like that, I was going to say, I'm going to tell you something. As your father, and I know I'm going to say something, you're going to get mad, but you better listen to me because I'm your father. I brought you in, I can take you out. What the hell's the matter with you? Did somebody hurt you? Are you suffering from some? You look like a carnival worker or an escapee from a mental hospital. What the hell's the matter with you? This is not normal. I got a tattoo. But not only that, your demeanor, your face, your affect, you look like somebody who just escaped. You look like somebody on death row, somebody who has been through some bad, like you've just been rescued from some mountain man who took you as his mountain wife. There's something wrong with you. There is something very wrong with you. And the tattoos have not, it's okay. It's not a part of it. What is the matter with you? Charles Corral was a trucker without an 18-wheeler. Indeed. You know who I like too? Bill Geist. That poor guy, Willie Geist. I like Bill Geist. He would go out there. There was a guy. This is the one I loved. There was a fellow who had a little ball. He had something. We started off with something on a string, and he kept painting it. And he put a layer of paint on this sphere. Let's say it was not Spear. That's Sammy Spear and the Jackie Gleason Orchestra. It's sphere. And then he kept painting, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, all with coats of paint. It puts the lotions in the basket. Yes. Indeed. Thank you. So here's my thing, and here's my issue. So they kept doing this, and 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 they kept doing this over and over and over and over until, dear friends, until the ball got to be, it weighed like, 800 pounds of paint. Just layers of paint that grew. And people would come from miles around to see it. I'd love it. I would absolutely love it. You understand this? You got that? Now, if somebody came to you, if one of your kids said, hey, listen, yes, I feel like a girl. Well, you are a girl. Oh, okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. But what would you say to your son who came to you and said, I feel like a girl? What would you say? What would you say? what would be the first thing you would say? Would you say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take you and we're going to get you transitioned. That's all I need to hear. Don't worry, no problem. There's a good hospital. There's a good hospital. We're going to go. We're going to make you. We're going to give you all of this treatment. That's it. What would you think about that? What would you do? What would you really say? What would you really honestly say? What would you do? The first thing I would sit down and say, I love you, but you're not going to do this. Do you have any idea what you're doing? No. And the first thing I would do is I say, well, I'm glad you do. Okay, let me show you something. This, I got a hold of it. This is a surgery. This is this is what they do in the surgery. And I got a hold of this. I got a friend of mine who's in the medical school, and we got this. This is called you want to be a boy? Okay, this is the reconstruction part. Oh, you're going to love this one. This is called the hysterectomy. And watch this. Here, watch this. You want to be a boy? Come here, watch this. Sit down. Now, this is just the surgery. Now we're going to go up to the mastectomy, because you got to get you before you hit puberty. Got to get this done now, because once it sets, everything changes. This is a mastectomy. So it's going to be tough for you, but it's got to give you your lymph nodes. We got to get all your memory. This is what you're going to look like. Get a big scar right across you like that. That's that. This is a hysterectomy, and this is there you go. You got that. Now here are the hormones. Oh, wait till you see this one. As far as reconstruction goes, I don't know what to tell you about that. You're not going to feel anything. I mean, it'll look basically bulbous. It'll be, in fact, hideous. You'll scare people in locker rooms. But no. If you want to do it, let me show you what you're going through. Sparky says, remember Carol Burnett saying about her being all goofy-eyed for John Dulles? Oh, yeah, Alan's brother. What was that about? Some sort of distraction or psyop. Yes. Also, there was a song, Fabulous 50s. Robert Klein, who does not care for me, wrote this. He did a wonderful song called The Fabulous 50s. He said, John Foster Dulles. You were right about that. Sparky, good for you, my friend. Good for you in going back into the depths of Arcana to pull that one out. Now, going back to what we're saying. I would want my kid to say, you want to talk about it? Let me show you what this is. And by the way, here are some people who have gone through kind of like this weird, kind of strange, like hyper, super duper puberty as a male from being a girl. Oh, you're going to love this. Now, as we get done, this is what I hope the kid would say. You know what? I said, I'll make a deal with you. Now, you listen to me. This is your father talking to you. If you really want to look like a boy and dress like a boy and cut your hair like a boy, if that's what you want to do, I'm with you 100%. And nobody will know whether we've cut anything or done anything. But if you want to look, believe me, that's okay. I cannot tell you enough how people really get into trouble with hormones and surgery. Is that a deal? Can we make a deal with you? You want to look like that? Anything you want, and I'll defend everything. But I got to ask you something. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Just want to make sure. Are you nuts? Because I don't know anybody who said, "Oh, and if I've known gay people and effeminate people." And I know one guy, for example, walks around, he dresses like, look, he reminds me of, believe it or not, he reminds me in a good way, one of the smartest people I know. You know, Waylon Flowers and Madam? He looks like Madam. He does. But he's a man and a big guy, too. You would not want to tangle with this fellow. But there's all kinds of, so somehow we've lost this. But I've got a friend of mine who's my old friend. His son is a very accomplished surgeon. He does thoracic stuff, but he's very, very accomplished. And the subject comes up, what are your thoughts as a surgeon, basically correcting or fixing young? He goes, hell no, no way, surgery? No. So Riley Gaines, good for you. But if somebody wants to, if I don't know what this Emma or this Emhoff, whatever her name is, She can wear tattoos, but if you want tattoos, fine. You want to look like that? All right. It's a free country. It's a free country. But you've got to be out of your mind. Out of your mind to want to have surgery. You got to be crazy. And don't kid yourself. Have you seen Bruce Jenner? I mean, Caitlyn Jenner? Nah. Ooh. That dog don't hunt. Something happened. I don't know what. But according to Bruce has not had a penectomy or anything as far as I know. I think he still got his goods. I think. I'm not sure. He's had a lot of facial work and some plastic surgery. But I don't think he's gone for the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. But this is also very interesting. Bruce likes women, right? Caitlyn? Now follow me, and I swear to God, answer my question. Caitlyn, who is a woman, likes women. So Caitlyn is the lesbian, right? Don't get me into that. And when when Caitlyn finds herself in moments of romantic extremis, and there's a certain degree of turgidity or tumescence or arousal or whatever, does this happen as a man or a woman? Just curious. I want to know this. Don't you think that's the most? Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody, but they don't. I want to know whether he's a lesbian, or do we even use that term anymore? So I guess Riley Gaines may address that. I find that absolutely fascinating. The subject of who you are, and sad to say, a lot of people, believe it or not, find themselves in the position of, as they did when tattoos came along, to be cool, bruh. Literally, they just decided, I'm going to have my stuff, my body forever marred. Okay? And we're not talking Bill Maher. That creep with those two girls. I'm still trying to get over that one. The two little girls. It was disgusting. He's such a freak. All right, my friends. One more thing, too. Did you see Mike Lindell today? He was trying to explain to a kid about voting. Well, listen, Mike, whatever it is, God bless you. You shaved your tattoo. Your sense of argument may not be the best, but your products are terrific. Mike, mypillow.com. What am I trying to say? mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. That's all that matters. Best products, best thing. mypillow.com. Right there. Use the promo code Lionel and receive a free gift, which is tautological. I understand. Okay? Okay. In addition, dear friends, make sure you follow Mrs. L. She has got a story that is so fascinating. The people that she interviews are so interesting. And she has a way of bringing out the best in these people, like you cannot believe. Here is her, I say her, a link, Lynn's Warriors on YouTube, and what I'm trying to say, and X as well. Sparky says, reinforcing the stereotype of nerds having little common sense, Elon Musk got talked into by experts into allowing one of his kids to take puberty blockers. Kid won't be the same. They regret it. You know, that is terrible. And you know, Sparky, it's weird because you would think somebody who has such a natural predisposition and proclivity to all matter scientific would understand what that meant. You would think they would know that. To be talked into it? No. I think anybody, I wonder, what did you think would happen? And Sparky says, Elon and his kid regret it. Oh, yes. We one time, years ago, not too long ago, but we were at the Heritage Foundation in Washington. It's a wonderful place. They came up with Project 2025. And I tell people all the time, oh, I'm 100% for it. Every bit of it. I've never read a word of it, but I tell people that, oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Oh, it's the best thing there is. In fact, it should replace, in many respects, portions of our Constitution. I'm what? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, what about mass deportation? Yes, even people born here. Certain states should be deported. Neighborhood. I'll show you just in New York where we can go and deport these people. But they were born here. Doesn't matter. Find an island, get rid of them. Believe me, we'll be better off. So I just embrace it. But the Heritage Foundation had a discussion with a man who had this surgery. He was older years ago. And he has regretted it ever since. He was going through the hell of this. Not only incontinence, but things don't work. Pudenda and other genital appendages do not work. They are not functional. I don't know what kind of bill of goods they sell people, but it's a terrible, terrible thing. Now, this wonderful, what a show tonight. Sparky, you were on fire, sir. Thank you immensely for your kindness. Evan Webb, damn it. George Lenz, Crypto Domini, Big Dick from Chicago, Prometheus Forever, Soul 76 Can, Gwig. You know him, you love him, he's called Gwig. Johnny Mazes Bath, we love you. Edie Crowley, God bless you. And this wonderful piece of art, look at this. And your masterpieces, we thank you. The Bit Block, thank you so much. Andy Armour, ladies and gentlemen. Howie Brown and his band of renown. Pilgrim Media, NJ Mills, thank you, sir. And Para Mahamsa Baba or Hoba. Killing me with this. Thank you, Eric Heffelfinger and Ken Diazio. God bless yous. All right, oh, and there's Soul, and he says Elon was told his kid would you know what if he didn't. Can't say that word. You don't like it. It's a horrible situation. All right, my friends. Thank you so much. If we can follow Mrs. Al at Lynn's Warriors, right here on YouTube. Sign up right now. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Until then, my friends, we've been together. What a night. An hour and 18 minutes. Not bad at all. Being with you is like being with Brooks and Dunn. It's like a long lost friend. It's where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus. Or I meant that heaven was not meant for high achievers. Brooks and Dunn, Red Dirt Road, love it. Neon Moon, love it. How about actually it's Ronnie Dunn doing My Maria. Remember B.W. Stevenson, that great song, My Maria? It's great, what a song. He's always got that funny Fugazi wig. I've said enough. Have a great day. I'm sorry to lose it. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And until then, my friends, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.